Yo, what is going on everybody? Today we have a replay analysis of a player that's actually requested quite a lot. Probably almost as much as Ruaz and Vatira is NWPO. Now, we will be doing a Vatira one very soon, and like I say, I really want to get a... Joyo! What the hell? But I also want to get a Ruaz video similar to the Zen one we did, so get a training pack and get that done as well. So we've got a lot of upcoming stuff. Really excited for. Like I say, I love doing these. And yeah, what a save by NWPO. Really smart what he did there to be able to jump off the surface. Now, the reason a lot of people are talking about NWPO at the moment is that he's considered probably the best ones player in the world at the moment. And the reason I believe for that is that he's just so good at outplaying. And when you watch him play too, he's extremely good at outplaying. The issue I have with NWPO's playstyle is it's a double-edged sword. So yes, he's brilliant at outplaying. When he gets control of that ball, he's basically scoring, it seems. But he will try so hard to get that ball that oftentimes it will cost him games. And if you ever look at the games that he loses, it really is just him diving in as last man and getting beaten. I was going to pick another game, but I thought, yeah, people have requested this player. I better pick a game where they actually win. But you head on to ball chasing, you'll see actually generally when NWPO's playing extremely fast of like 77 speed and above, he pretty much loses the game. And when he's around 72 and below, he usually wins. So I think sometimes he brute forces his speed a little bit too much. And I can understand the reason he would do that is if I keep doing it, I'll get better and better and better at that speed. But I think there is just... you can go too fast in these things, You can go too fast in every sport. It isn't necessarily the fastest player that wins. I mean, for example, look at what happened to Usain Bolt when he tried to play for Man United. You know what I mean? Just because you got the speed doesn't always mean anything in the big and small. But on top of the speed, of course, NWPO has insane mechanics. And it's a joy to watch him outplay players. It really is good to watch him do that. It's just some of the last man stuff that I panic about. And of course, when you're talking about mechanical players, look who else is on this game. Joyo. And also Alems, if I said that right, hopefully I do, who's actually teamed with Smashy recently. Someone I actually played in RLCS a couple of months ago. Really good player. I think 2.3k. Very, very good player. And Dabby. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Though I don't really know too much about it, if I'm being honest. So, of course, earlier on in this replay, and we're going to go over the whole thing after, we did see NWPO do his sort of signature move, and his signature move is the early hover. It was Raid in the 2 series that introduced me to the hover. Just straight up, as soon as that ball goes up, hover. And now, of course, you see players like Zen as well. Zen and NWPO are very good at reading the hover, but all you have to do to be so good at that is just read what you feel you would do in that situation. And it really is, when you watch these high level players, their ability to match the height of the ball or the perceived height of the threat is extraordinary, as we actually did see NWPO there. So a little bit of an overcommit there from Dabe. Is it Dabe or Dabby? But that's a great... again, look at this. This is the sort of stuff I'm on about. He does seem to have a little bit of magic, NWPO. Every time he gets a touch on that ball, he just seems to outplay everyone. He's very good at spotting the open areas. Oh, what's going on? He's gone AFK. That could be a bit of lag. Is it a bit of lag? It could be. Could be. The servers... oof. Yeah, don't get me started on those servers. Good build up here. Now he's playing a little bit more defensive, which is interesting. And this is actually, again... I don't want to keep bringing Zen up, but that's something Zen does a lot, where he'll just go all the way back. And then you see players, more so like Very Peak Monkey Moon, they'll tend to get more pads and stick in the mix, as opposed to the big boost. And oftentimes, if we're talking statistics, NWPO is one of the biggest overflow boosters in the game. So what he'll often do is he will grab 100 boost, even though like here he's got 40 boost, he'll grab the 100 boost. And that's what you call the overflow statistic. So technically, he grabbed more boost than he really needed. So that's the statistic there, and he usually has a very high one. And it's actually very interesting to know that, because as you know, if you take an SSL and you take them down to 0 boost all game, they're not going to feel like an SSL. And NWPO, one of his strategies seems to be that he likes to take everyone's boost off the table so that they're essentially low while he can keep grabbing the big boost and attacking. Although he has left himself a little bit low here. But again, notice he jumps high. Notice he goes up there. That's the key. It's the perceived threat. He went above because he saw Joyo's best option was to go high. There we go, nice. Good fake again. And a challenger's first man there, it makes sense because you sort of knew that Joyo was stuck. And what a shot! I'm actually surprised that went in. We'll have to look at that later on in the analysis. 3-3, 18 seconds. Do they win this in regulation? That is the question. Yeah, great little touchdown there. He's so threatening, NWPO. He knows exactly the timing of his dodge. He knows exactly the timing of it. Last man diving in there. This could be dangerous. It's a 2v1. NWPO again, just managing to take off that angle. Like, he's just... Yeah, he really has got that down. And here we go, 3-3. I didn't realize this went into overtime. My bad, guys. Yeah, good kickoff. See, that's the stuff where NWPO, I just think he's just playing as fast for the sake of it. But that's an extremely dangerous play to go into a corner when the opponent's already grabbing that boost. I don't really see too much benefit from that. And again, sort of the dive here as last man, but it has worked out, I believe. No. And then there's a lot of 2v1s coming through. But I don't think Alems is backing up Joyo in the way that he should there, personally. We'll look at that in the analysis after to see if he could have. I feel he could have took the sort of the curved path lane with a bit more threat onto NWPO, but we'll see. I don't see the point of taking that mid boost off the table in that situation. Good hover again. Going above to where he feels the ball's going to be. Slightly higher, because think about it. If you've got the ball on your card, you're often going to hit it up again. Now, here we go, the 2v1. Alems is actually going after him. There's a lot of 2v1s coming through here. And we're actually seeing NWPO in a very unusual state. He's being very defensive in this one. And this could be because Dabe is committing quite heavily here. But here we go, NWPO. Look at the soft touch. He's going to look for the block. And again, that's such a good move, that is. Such a good move, that little turn and shot. Now, you guys know I love to keep possession and stuff like that, but such a good move in ones when you feel someone's going to challenge you, just to offset them while you grab boost. And you can just sit, and again, that's why NWPO's really the best ones player in the world at the moment, in the current times. He may not be on the rank leaderboard, but he is, if you look at the stats that the people who are really into ones, I can't remember what it's called, pardon my ignorance, but there is, whoa, baby. A little bit of lag there. We might have to watch that one again. A little bit of lag came in. Up he goes. And I mean, look at the control. Look at the control. Like he's trying to hit it with all different parts of the car. And oh, they opened their miss, but we get to finish. What a game. And everyone's getting out of there as soon as they can. Well, NWPO especially. Well, let's have a look at this and see what could have been done differently. All right, let's get into this analysis. I'm looking forward to this because I think this one could be one of the better ones for you to learn from, especially if you're not a mechanical player. And you're going to see some things in this replay analysis based on what I just saw in the game at least. And I'm with you, this is fresh eyes. But we're going to see some stuff that's very important for twos, especially we're looking in counters. But one of the first things I want you to know is this positioning from Joyo. Now, when I'm coaching people, GC, maybe GC2 and under, I often tell them to just wait here. Just get used as a second man to being good at this spot. Just get good at it. Because we know vision is one of the most important things. But you have to be able to build vision. And to build vision, you have to give yourself opportunities. So what I like to do is have people wait in very fundamentally safe positions whilst their focus is the players. Their focus is what's happening next. Where's my vision? Okay? So in this situation, you can see if you were in this position, it's a safe position. You're just going to block the players and you can move down the wing and waste the time. However, as you get up the ranks, you're going to need to take that vision and you're going to need to use it to be able to do more aggressive things and give up less space because the players are so incredible. And so now what you see is Joyo can quite happily push to here, and the reason he can push to here is that there's no direct threat to net yet. In my opinion, he should have then came here and come across with a side flip. As long as his nose has a slight bias towards his own side, the blue side, and he side flips, he should be fine. There is zero chance of him losing this 50. Zero chance. Okay? Whenever you challenge the same way as the ball is going, there is a 0 chance you lose the 50 if you do it correctly. Essentially, the goal is you're going to move with the ball and you're going to just redirect it to a time-wasting position so that you can regroup on defense. Now, when you do this, you might get demoed, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to push the ball up the wall to allow your teammate to get back, and that's really important, and that's something that's missing here. Instead, Joyo is concerned more so with an outside shadow. So he turns to the outside, and it's sort of that age-old question. Usually more mechanical players and players who are going against the more aerial players tend to go for an outside shadow. You know, really you want to mix them up. If the player goes on the wall, an outside shadow can be really good. But generally, we're looking now and we're seeing more so players getting into inside shadows. So just keep that in mind there. That would have been a better way to take that, in my opinion. And you can see NWPO doing the absolute opposite here because it's just come off the kickoff. Don't get me wrong, I'm aware of that. But he actually switches to the opposite side. So you can see here he turns out to give himself a little bit more time. And the reason he does this is because he's actually thinking about intercepting a double touch here. So if Joyo's going for a double touch here, NWPO's going to go up, but he mishits it. And so NWPO does something that a lot of people used to argue with me for hours and hours on end with. But you go watch Ruaz, Zen, NWPO right here. That old myth that you should never go in net. I don't know who started it, where it came from, but what surprises me more that people actually believe that kind of nonsense. When you don't go to net, which is what a lot of players do, they don't go to net, you're essentially leaving the only thing that you're responsible for open. What you'll see here is if NWPO comes out to this, he can get outplayed really easy. And then it's an open net. But instead, he'll go into the net, shock horror. Okay, he doesn't go short, he goes behind the line so that he can make a save. And here he could go straight onto offense. And he does. Bang. And that's exactly what he should do. Attack the net early to force them to defend. He wanted a bit more height, you can tell by the way he flipped late. But basically, you're trying to force them and pin them into the net with low boost off the counter. Counters are extremely underrated in this game still, especially in 2s and 3s. Ridiculously underrated. On this situation here, one of NWPO's signature plays is coming up right now, and that is the hover. He is so good at hovering and getting up on these pre-jumps. And one of the best ways to deal with this is just think, what would I do in this situation? Would I go for an aerial play if I was Joyo? Of course you would. But what I want you to look at, I'm thinking Champ 1 and below here, is how NWPO scales to height. Most Champ 1 players, Champ 2 players lean back about this far, and they go towards the ball. Whereas when you look at higher level players, they lean back this far, and they try and get the height going first. So they're trying to get the momentum and then shoot themselves as high as possible. It's easier to drop down than it is to gain height once you're, moving forward, because the ball can go over the top of you. So right here, you see NWPO goes up and then comes down. It's much easier, and he almost gets a goal out of it. Looks for the dunk. I mean, that's a great read from him to try and get this dunk. What Dabby does there, I hope I'm saying the name right. Good boost grab, level 3 boost grab, and you can see the power that has. Okay, he's took the boost, but you don't want to be doing this. And people will say, but you say to match the height of the ball or go above the ball on the wall. Yeah, defensively. Okay, or when you're pushing out, but not to challenge, because there's nothing for Dabby to gain in this position. Why? Well, because Joyo, for this to work, Joyo has to go up the wall. But look at Joyo's positioning. He's on the outside ball, so it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. What you'd want to do when you're pushed on defense here, all right, is flash this position. Always flash it. Flash that position. Get off the wall. Flash that position. You don't need to. It's all about the nameplate here. Okay, so you can see Joyo's nameplate. As soon as you see that nameplate's on the right-hand side, you see it on the right side, you should be dipping off that wall quick, because it's going to be extremely hard for him to get an aerial play, especially if you just took the level 3. You should always be thinking, if you've just took a level 3 boost, you should always be thinking about triangle defending. Come down here, grab this boost, come down here, and then you just backflip or side flip or something into that. This is what NWPO actually goes for here by the looks of it. The issue you've got with this is he's doing it as last man. And if he doesn't get this successful, it's game over. This is why as last man, you don't really want to be taking these challenges. You want to try and delay as much as possible. One of the things that costs NWPO games is he constantly challenges as last man. He is so good when he's got the ball that I think he tries to force the ball out of players. And yes, it works well for him because he's on the board, he's so dangerous, but you don't really want to keep doing it. And so right here, he could have played it away. But I want to talk to you about something extremely important that is probably the biggest thing in this replay. And we're going to see a lot of it because actually the way everyone's so aggressive, but there's not much structure here. This is the 2v1 wall, as I call it. The blue team have possession of the ball, and their last man, Alems, is right here. This is where the middle of his hitbox is. So the goal on a counter is to attack hard and fast. Right here, you want to push as fast as possible. The reason being, you want to pull this wall up because anyone on this side of the wall has the ability to defend and block the shot. Anyone on this side of the ball has nothing. They are in no position to help the game at all. Statistically, the more time you spend behind the ball, as in towards the other side, like Dab is now, is the number one statistical difference between winning and losing. Of course, there are outliers, there always will be, but this tends to be the biggest thing. If you're on offense, you know, something happens and you see your teammate has a clear, yes, you can push behind because you can shoot and maybe they can redirect it in at a certain level. Okay? But what the goal is here is Alems needs to keep pushing this up as Joyo pushes as well to force this wall up as much as possible to keep Dab in a bad position. And in fact, and I'm not being harsh and because they're an incredible player and everything, but what I'm saying is right now their position is useless to the game. To their team, they can absolutely do nothing. And you can see that they're still behind the wall, The wall's there. They cannot do anything if you build that wall up. So what you're looking to do when you're playing twos is to create counters. And as soon as you counter, go quick. You have to, as a unit, push, which is why you saw NWPO take that shot earlier on off the counter, is he's trying to accelerate their wall to lock them into a useless position, the 2v1 wall. Here we go. Going for the aerial play. Good recovery here. Oh man, I gotta say this play is so aggressive. You know, this is something they tell you to do a lot in twos. People do this a lot, this level of aggression, but it can come back to bite you, especially if they're very good at that wall technique, because right here, they can push, you know, if Alems hits that, it could be all over, but good recovery nonetheless. Anyway, let's get back to NWPO. And dealing with the threat because he knows it's dangerous. And one thing I will say about NWPO, he's very, very good at getting outplays on the first man. It was a great challenge well played. Alright, so good use of the camera. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Even though it's an aerial play, like give it a second. This is one of the things that I see cost NWPO games. And again, he's way better than me, way better than I'll ever be. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm just saying, as someone who's watching and looking at the times he loses, this tends to be the stuff that does it. He tends to throw himself into the corner, and now he's in a rush to get back, which means he might miss some of the pads, and he's just going to maybe not be in the best position. And remember earlier I said about going all the way back to net, the power of it. And I said that if you turn out, you can get scored over the top. That's exactly what happens here. I'm so glad this happens because you can literally see it. Had he have continued to the position here and turned, he may have been able to get a save there. But the game was already lost, in my opinion, with this corner challenge. Joyo's hitbox, in the nameplate, is above the ball, which means it's going to be very hard for him to lift this ball back up to get a dangerous, a threat going. He could have delayed this, and then if Joyo does go up, he could have then hovered, but with his momentum towards his net, in my opinion. And right here, of course, like I often say, if this is a counter and they're off, this is going to be difficult because it's a counter. And the most powerful thing in twos is counters, which is why I try and force them. That's what the whole pacifist system's about. And you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely look and try and figure out your own methods of creating counterattacks. Not a bad idea. Do you see the difference here that NWPO's defending on the inside, so he should win this 50. Yeah, so he's not going for an outside. Mind you, he couldn't really get more outside than that, but he pushes inside to outside, which is a very high % chance of winning. And then this goes over the top of Alames. This is the sort of stuff I'm saying. Alames, sorry. I hope I'm saying that right. And again, just trying to pin them in net because he took the boost. This stuff doesn't do anything. So this is the preventative stuff that doesn't need preventing, in my opinion. I can understand that touch. Maybe they're worried, but it's when you look at this, NWPO's on his way back, so this is a good delay touch. But then players will continue to try and block stuff. There's no real need to block this ball. Like, it doesn't do anything. If you block it, it is going to go back to the opponent anyway and give them more space and map time. Might just be better to fake there, but good save there from NWPO. Getting inside the net here. And this is wicked. This move right there, that is so high level. And there's a reason why. If he drives into this ball, by default he's lifting this ball. Ever so slightly, you couldn't even see it. And that means if Alames challenges, it's probably going to dunk into net. But he waits until he can see a clear lane. So you watch this. It's something to add. So many people rush out of defense. Calm down in defense. Fake it. And then take it into space. You have to. You've got to move the ball away from the opponent. Stop trying to push it through them. It doesn't work. Good save there. Again, that's like aggression coming in. Good boost grab again, looking to get onto the inside. And good hover there from Dave. Well, you got to be fair with this, because what makes this so good is he's moving back towards his net. This is incredible play, really. First man or second man can do this. We often prefer first man to do it, because second man for us is waiting ready to snipe. So if first man does what Dave does here, we're already here ready to go. But it doesn't matter either way, whichever one you feel comfortable with. That's just personal preference. But the main thing is to do what Dabby does, or Dave, which is to move towards the net. That is what makes the success rate of this go through the roof. And look at where he recovers, right by his net. Incredible. NWPO looking for Musty into a demo. Doesn't go fully into the opponent's net, which is key to note there. And again, this is not bad at all from Dave again. He's going up. He's not throwing himself forward too much. You've got to be fair to him. That's good in defense. And usually this is where the difference is between success and no success. And that is the transition game. The transition game. We're going to talk about this as well. When I first started Jiu-Jitsu, I was like, right, I'm going to get to side control, do this. I'm going to get to the mount and do this. When you get higher level, you don't really get to those positions anymore because they're so like defended. So you tend to play the game, what I call the transition game. Everything's done within transitions. You don't really often get to those stereotypical places. And it's the same in Rocket League. And right now, I feel that these two, when they're in defense, like when Dab's in defense, he's doing a great job in defense. When he's in attack, he's doing a good job in attack. It's the transition between attack and defense from both of these guys, NWPO as well, that's causing them the weaknesses, in my opinion. Because it's at those moments, they're not willing to give up on the attack and they're pushing too much. But here, this is something, again, you can add this to your game. Notice the ball is on Joyo's car. And this is one of the things that we're always saying. As soon as that ball is on top of their car and they got a bounce dribble, you have to go up. You have to go up. So you can see here, instantly NWPO jumps and he leans back to make his hitbox bigger. If you stay grounded and try to react, you're not going to do it. You just have to go up and try and minimize the height of the net. Alright, here we go. A little bit of a 1v1. And again, Alames does it, I think. Alames, sorry. So again, so he tries to react there. That could be dangerous though. If this is a really powerful 45, it's so hard to react to that. So it's often better to get up early, but he might have had a tell that let him know that wasn't going to be particularly high success. Great clear. Really, really good clear. Yeah, really good clear this was from NWPO. Gets beyond the last man, and there is actually an open net. And remember earlier I said about that counter wall, that 2v1 wall, and I said there are exceptions. This is an exception, because you can see that NWPO is going to clear it, so you can move into the space for the redirect. And that's where you would do it. But generally, you don't want to be doing that unless you're really high level, guys. There's a bit AFK there. Good save from Dave. And NWPO following up. The problem with some of the aggression NWPO has in these follows is that he follows up so aggressively that he ends up having to fully back off. And sometimes that can work for him and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on who he's playing and their clinicality. But this is good. This is where the future of the game is. This is the future of the game. This stuff off the back wall. So being able to get full map space is the future of the game. And being able to do aerials from it, that's where the game is. That's where it's going to be. Like I said that in a video about a year ago now. I said people will be just pulling it into map space and going off their own backboard. This really is super dangerous in the right hands. And it's so hard to block. And so that's where I feel that the Rocket League will be in the future. Especially for 2s and 1s at least. A little bit harder for 3s because you have so many bodies go up for it. But and there's more efficiency in the passive plays. Again. NWPO, good demo on the second man. If you ever do go for a play and it doesn't work, always look for the demo. And here's that thing I was talking about. You know, often, like I say, people here, we have them waiting there, you know. But vision, understanding, angles, he can wait here. And he can stay on that. This stuff, though, again, I'm just not a fan of this stuff. Because it just gives them the ball back. It gives them the ball back, and then you have to retreat. And I'm not a big fan of that. Again, great hover there. And NWPO's up. And it's these hovers that are really allowing a lot of these offensive chances. And great flip reset, just missing it. There's that forced shot again. So you don't really want to take too many of these shots because that's a difficult shot to make. And so the shot will actually be flat, as you can see here, and it gives them the free possession. What you'd be better off doing is just faking that. You just fake it. Because it's going into a safe area anyway. You can just fake that. Fake that. Do this air roll and then empty jump or half flip into this. Would be a safer option in my opinion. Again, nice. So nice and central. So sticking much more central as second man because it's so important for central man to block goal side. But here, notice the ball is high. Joyo can go up. So NWPO instantly jumps. Force them to take it low. It's easier to drop down. As I say, he just does a little flip and he's hit it. No problem. It's so easy to drop down than it is to go up. And here is an example of that. When this ball is up, it's so difficult to climb. So yeah, just a really good finish there from Alvarez. A strong cheat here. Good pathing. Great pathing. 43 boost out of that. And a good challenge there. I mean, that challenge makes sense because it was actually dangerous for Joyo there. And I mean, this shot, I got to see how this works because this threw me. So, yeah, the challenge makes sense. Good speed here. Is it the demo that does it? Very close. Just a little bit of a miss mechanic there. I think the demo really put him off, but I do feel like there was a little bit of a miss mechanic. Had he leant forward a little bit, he might have been able to get to that. So dangerous this is. He's trying to match the height of the ball early, but if that shot's on, if Alemez was able to get that shot, that's game over. Super risky. But this is the stuff you often see where it can really cost you the game. These little risks that don't give you a lot of gain. The boost grab. Nice challenge. Really nice challenge there again. Scaling up to match the height of the ball and then get the challenge in. Well played. Alright, overtime. Don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I think he's trying to force Joyo. I don't know what he's trying to do there. Maybe trying to force Joyo off the ball or something, but he's going to go for the boost and he's going to get the hit on the ball. This seems overly aggressive. Overly aggressive. He was probably trying to prevent the turns. Now here, let's have a look. Is this the one where I believe one of these, Alemez goes for the boost and he shouldn't have done. No, this one they did a good job. But he's gone for the demo. Fair enough. He's gone for the demo. Actually, it's a bit unfortunate there. They're trying to just put NWPO out whilst they put it into the net. You can see how dangerous this game it becomes. Why? Because of this dive into the corner. It's a dive into the corner. And this is the stuff, again, why counters are so powerful, because it's so easy to block and attack from that position anyway. And now they've got this opening for the 2v1. They just don't execute it, but I think there's another one coming up. There's a lot of 2v1s right at the end here. And again, a dive into the corner. And another dive. There's so many dives coming in here from Dave right at the end. And again, look how easy it is for these players to block this sort of stuff. For them, it's easy. It's such a risk to take this. And they've got this map space now. And they've just not pushed the wall up quick enough. I don't believe. I feel that Animes should have grabbed this boost and just gone bang, bang, straight here, fast, fast, fast. And he would have got to here and he could have possibly finished that off. I do feel that going for that mid boost doesn't follow the rule of the 2v1 wall. So right here, if he goes directly forward, that wall is staying up for a long period of time. But when you start to go off, it allows a little bit more time for this, because that is a greater distance. If you stretch it out, it's almost the same as that distance. So it just allows that 2v1 to break down. And now you're just looking at a 1v1. And the idea why you want to push up really strong with your teammate is because if they're collapsed, which they are because NWPO's driving backwards, he cannot, it's very hard if you do a good job of lifting up this ball, like so, it's very hard for him to clear this ball. So he can only tap it. So that's why you push up so hard as second man, because you want the tap so that you can finish this. Could he got it? I feel he could have. I do feel he could have done a bit more than that personally. But he was probably just trying to play safe. It's just something to consider. Although, I don't know if that is particularly safe play. But again, NWPO doing a good job blocking this ball. He didn't hover that time. He didn't go up early. I don't think he could. If he didn't, it was over. So he was trying to stay grounded. Again, these dives into the corner. This is just so dangerous from this Dabe. Right here. They're off again. They didn't even need to hit this potentially. I think maybe grabbing that and shooting it lower towards Joyo might have been the way. Was that a possibility? Because you've got the overcommit. See, this is what you always want to look for when you're playing twos, is have we created an overcommit? And we have. So what you then want to do is, can you knock it to your teammate to get it forward as fast as possible? Gone for the net. I mean, it's not a bad shot at all. You know, NWPO doing a great job defensively here. And there it is again from NWPO. Something that you can add to your game. And he's trying to delay the time as much as possible. And he matches the height of the ball. So important here. Something you've got to add to your game. Look at that. Straight up matching the height of the ball. Can they still score? Of course they can still score. But if you stay grounded, you are screwed in those situations. Trying to build this forward. You've got to be careful. And there's another 2v1. There was so many 2v1s at the end of this game. I'm surprised they won this, I've got to be honest. Because this is just absolute unnecessary aggression. The 2v1 comes in. The first man now goes for the demo. Joyo going up into the air. It's a waste of time. The way too much time was wasted here looking for flip resets and stuff. If you've got this situation, you should always play it low. You always should play it low. And I can tell you exactly why. If I play this ball grounded, it's really easy for Alams to knock NWPO off his save, because he will either kill him, because obviously I'm staying grounded, so it forces him to defend on the ground, or he'll force him to jump. And if he forces him to jump, he's out of position over the ball. By going up, and the other thing is speed, but by going up, you waste so much time. If you look at this from this position here, Dave's out of position. If we go now to net, we're doing good. But look, because we go upwards, it allows him to get back into position. And now there's a little bit of a recovery going on. I believe they could have done a little bit more with that personally. Let's have a look at it from Alan's perspective, because he might be confused here. They get this, and he's off. And he sees that touch. But I think it's the fact, yeah, it's a little bit too slow there, in my opinion, in that situation. So a lot of 2v1s coming through here from these two, and they're just not able to finish. So let's have a look at this. The ball goes up. Again, something they've done very well is just those hovers. NWPO up. Also going to get a block there. I love that move. I love that move. It's not necessarily a good move sometimes when you can take it back, but I love it because what it does is it prevents them attacking and it allows you to get boost. It's a really good play if you want to get some boost there. Very difficult to do, very accurate. Again, this is madness for me. So how many, like we did this before in the demos, how many dives into the corner have we seen in this replay? Loads. And how many have been successful? None. It doesn't make sense. There's no, like, I mean, look at this. He can't even get back into the play. I don't know how they didn't score here either. Let's have a look. They've got this counter. Just taking too long. This is actually one of the big things here. Joyo's taking way too long on these counters. Way too long. Going for carries and stuff like that. You've got to go straight away if it's a counter. Even if, like here, you just drop it or you flick it to the side, really, you need to play it into space. Because if you go for a flick against the NWPO here, obviously at this level, they'll just go up and just air dribble it in. But you need to, like, move this ball into space, knowing that you've got the advantage. Like, right here, I would recommend just getting around this ball and just side flipping it. Just side flipping it. Because your teammate should be there. And now you've got this 2v1 and you've played it into space. That should be the game. But I just see Joyo, he seems to be going for these solo plays that are taking too long on these counters. And they're having so many 2v1s. It just seems like a bit of a waste, really. I mean, what is that? Like, this doesn't make sense either. Because this is just bad play from Joyo. I've got to be honest. Because he could have gone much faster on both of those outplays. I know, obviously, here, I don't know why he's going after his teammate. He should have carried on going around. Again, they've got the 2v1. All Alems has to do is just drive this forward at the net. So, and don't go for anything fancy. So what Joy should do is keep turning, just drive at this guy. Just drive at him. And if he dodges to the side, you can already tell your teammate's made a mistake. One of the things that drives me crazy when I'm playing twos. And I'm doing this and then they drive off and I'm like, why are you driving off? Oh yeah, because my teammate's gone up the wall. Well, in this situation, it's because obviously Joe just decides to smash it against the wall. But Alems was going to go at net. And you can't lose this. You can't lose again because you can just, as long as your second man's good, what you want to do, really, it should be like a well-known communication thing. If you've got a 2v1, you want to dribble it right down this path lane. Because then everyone knows where it's going. And then your demoer can just drive down this path lane and go after the player. And stay grounded. But yeah, I don't agree with this. I don't know. They have lost themselves this game, I believe, from my opinion. Anyway, back to NWPO here. Great speed up again. Look at the lean back here, guys. Look at the lean back. See how he's proper leaning his car back. I know it sounds obvious, but just go watch one of your replays for an aerial and see how much forward lean you have. He puts the lean on after. Good block as well. And again, I gotta say, great hovers here from Dave. Hovers on the defensive end have been phenomenal. It's a lot of it's coming down to the overcommits in the corner, but they just haven't been capitalised on. That's got to be frustrating. That's got to be frustrating. And they do have a 2v1, so they're trying to bring that wall forward. The reason Dabby goes out for some boost there makes sense because he wouldn't be able to get to the demo anyway. So unfortunate clear. Great shot, you know. And I mean, in all honesty, that was a rough game to watch. And it was just the most recent NWPO win that I thought had a lot of goals. What we're seeing there that NWPO's doing extremely well is extremely fast counters. Defensively, he's able to go straight up on his aerials and he's just outplaying everyone. But when he's defending, he's matching the height of the ball. So as soon as they get the ball on the car, he starts to hover. And his teammate did a great job at blocking the high balls as well. But the bad news was too many dives into the corners. Not one of them was a success. And there were tons of 2v1s. Not NWPO's fault, actually, the majority of those. And they weren't capitalised on. And at this level, everyone always has a go at me saying, oh, you keep saying the game's got a long way to go. at this level, top 100, you'd think that there'd be a lot more finishes on those plays. But then again, they might be using it for mechanical training. There you go. You know, there is always that. But if you are playing with a teammate, just make this your thing, that if you do get an outplay, try and just dribble it in a straight line at the net. All right? And then your teammate can just drive at the opponent on the ground down the middle. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you for the recommendation here. Really cool to watch NWPO play. Very quick, very speedy, and unbelievable mechanics. So, yeah, thank you so much for recommending this. And I will see you later. Peace out. Peace, peace.